And you are back on the Tortoise and Hare experience. You just heard the song Tether by Tantric and by our upcoming guest who we have, Scott Wilson. You can find the band at tantricrockband.com. You can find our guest Scott Wilson at scottwilsonmusic.com. It has definitely been a while that we've been on, mainly due to my experience, which I'll share first. Had a family emergency.
I'm sorry.
Yeah, my mom left my dad.
Wow, that's big news.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. So it was kind of good that we had this break. This is the weird thing, though. As you get older, I don't know if this has happened to you or not, but you stop looking at your parents as your parents and you start looking at them as like normal people, because like me, I moved out and now I rarely see my family and stuff like that, especially because of my work schedule. My work schedule is so hectic. And it's like I tell my mom, like, hey, I could see you, but it has to be like after midnight. I have no problem with that. But my mom's like in bed by like 9 o'clock. So that really doesn't work out. So my dad took it really hard. My dad is a very old-fashioned man. He's straight from Mexico, essentially. But he's Americanized now.
Right.
After,
but it's got that Latin kind of
that
machismo.
Latin, yeah, like you don't leave. No one leaves.
Yeah.
Once you're married, that's it. Like through death do his part. So he took it really bad, and the weird part is it brought us closer together because now I'm seeing my dad a little bit more. So I've been dealing with that. And you know what? I don't take sides or anything like that. It's just like, hey, I'm just going to be there for both of you guys. A little bit more for my dad, though. Not that I'm taking sides. It's just
you feel that he needs it more.
He needs it more because, my dad, he's an extremely solace man, and he doesn't go out. My dad's idea of a perfect day is him just watching TV in his underwear. That's it.
Well, that's my perfect day, too. Well, minus the underwear, but
no underwear, perfect.
Show. It's another show.
Yeah, so, my dad doesn't go out or anything like that. So now I'm trying to think of ways to get him to go outside and, just, I guess, start a brand new life. And then I had to move my mom out. Like, that was really weird.
Wow.
That was like by far an interesting experience because just to see my mom, my dad doing that whole separate thing, you're just like, holy cow, this is really happening. Because like when they told me, it was just like, yeah, but you still live at home,
Sure.
Then my mom was like, no, man, like now I got a place, I'm moving out. She's moving, and the worst part is she's moving farther from me. So, the closest person to me is my father. And now my mom lives a little bit more further from me. I actually have to take a freeway and stuff like that.
Heavens.
Well, yeah. Well, because before my mom and my dad just lived like a mile, just in a car. I could just drive there or bicycle there.
How long had they been married?
Oh, man, I want to say 40 years.
Wow.
So, yeah.
That's a big move.
Yeah, very move, especially, again, we all kind of were seeing it coming because like once I moved out and my mom retired, my dad had been retired, then there was no more distractions.
Right.
It was now time to like...
You have to like each other.
Yeah. Well, I mean, Max, like, and I wanted to pick your brain on this because, I mean, you got a divorce.
I did.
Right?
I got an ugly divorce.
Was it? That's what I'm trying to go through with my parents right now. I'm trying to make it not ugly, I know there's going to be fights over monies and stuff like that. But, like I'm telling my mom, like, who cares who gets what? Like, you just want to do a complete cut and not be involved in that person's life. I know that sounds weird and it sounds very...
Well, that's a very difficult thing to do because you build things up in your relationships, so you buy things together. There's emotional attachments to objects, which shouldn't be. You should not have to have a feeling for an object. It should, be able to come and go out of your life very easily because it's the relationship that you have with the person that should matter. Unfortunately, women are very attached to things because they set a memory. And men are less attached, but they are attached to the financial part of it.
Right.
So they want more. Or at least in my experience, my ex wanted everything. And pretty much got it. Yeah.
Did you? I mean, right? It's like what they say. Like, hey, you want everything. If that's what it takes to get you out of my life completely, sure. You know, that's the small price.
Well, I don't need anything. You know, I'm good in a hovel someplace. You know, as long as I have like a book, I'm good.
Okay.
A drum and a book, maybe a lamp,
and
this shoe.
So so that was my experience. Sorry to just take up everything that was going on. Oh, nice.
Nice.
That was a nice experience.
You know, thanks for starting the show like that, Turtle. Way to bring it down.
Well,
right
we were gone for a month.
You
We were gone for a month. People need to understand, like, you know, like, hey, you know, like sometimes something's going to happen in your life. You just have to stop everything that you're doing and just be like, look, this is kind of a little bit more important. I'm not saying the show is not that important, but, you know, this was just kind of like, I'm like, I can't do anything for a month until I get this all straightened out. Yeah. So, your experience, Max?
So I just about 25 minutes ago took a DNA test.
That sounds about right. Max is a very kind of spontaneity type person.
I am. Yeah. I want to know things.
Is this that lineology thing that you do online or something like that, and then you send in a swab?
Yeah.
Okay.
They sent me 2 swabs. You slide it in your mouth and you swab one side and then you swab the other and you put a little envelope and you send it off and they tell you who you're not related to.
Who you're not related to.
So I'm really frightened that I'm going to get this response back that I'm not who I thought I was.
Well, you are who you think you are.
No,
isn't that?
Because I have no idea. I have no idea who I am or who I've ever been.
That's an interesting
concept. It's in my Reiki practice. I do past life regression, so I have the ability to look at people and see where they come from in their past lives and their energy and where that leads to, them to in this particular life. But for myself, I can't do it. So I have to go and swab my face out. And what if it comes back and, I don't know.
You're not Egyptian.
Yeah. What the heck?
Well, I mean, you know what? Here's the thing. Like, even though you say you're not.
What if I'm Mexican?
You probably are.
And I have this accent and I don't even know it.
Everyone's from Mexico.
That's right.
And I always tell people, if you live in LA, you're Mexican.
You're Mexican, by default.
Regardless.
That's right. So I shared my little experience, and Scott Wilson, who is busy on his technical device.
That's true.
Yeah.
Hey, it happens. So I was just sitting here listening to stories. I was, entertained, and so I started texting all my friends. Hey, you know what? This is an interesting story. So, sorry, I was being very. What's it called? What is the newer generation called? That's on their phones all the time. Millennials.
Oh,
I was being very millennial, even though I'm not.
I have other words for that, but we're not going to.
I know. No, actually, it was business. I was actually just trying to email the show here a file.
Oh, perfect.
So, that's so sweet of you.
I'm nice. It was a birthday card, just so I don't miss your birthdays this year.
Thank you. You spent my birthday with me last year, and where were we?
Oh my gosh, I don't know. We were everywhere, all over the country for 6 months.
But that particular day, there was a tornado, and I don't remember what state we were in, but we were playing.
It was Nebraska, and we were.
Was it Nebraska?
Yeah.
That's good times.
Yeah,
that's how my birthday went.
Small tornado.
I appreciate you, looking to the future and me having a better birthday this year.
Well, yeah.
Please.
I mean, it's what friends do.
Thanks. Appreciate it.
Of course. Yeah. No. Wow. Last year, that was a blur the whole year. So, and do you want me to tell the story about where we were last year, or do you want to?
You are welcome to tell any story you like.
So,
it's your mic.
Last year, there was a tour for my fiance Christina calls this tour the Warped Tour for Adults. So
with adults,
But none of us were adults on that tour at all. But it was Alien Ant Farm, which I know has been on the show before.
Yeah.
We had Trapped. We had my band Tantric, Crazy Town. Who am I missing?
Saving Abel.
Saving Abel.
Puddle of Mud.
Puddle of Mud. Yeah, Drowning Pool.
Drowning Pool, Fuel.
Yeah, so a bunch of bands from the 2000s that went out together, played some big stages and had a good time, and it was really a cool concept.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that they didn't really consider that you're putting that many quote unquote rock stars together in one small community. So there was a lot of terror that went on, as you know, because you were there. Not to mention the typical, I don't have my brown M&Ms sort of thing that went on a lot in that tour.
There was a lot of that going on?
Oh, yeah.
That tour, and you know what? Truthfully, like I've known most of those people for years and years and years, but there were some attitudes I didn't know existed, and that was interesting. I'm like, because these people would come to me with one attitude, and then all of a sudden they're turning to production or whoever it was at that moment and losing it, and then turn right back around and go, "Did you see that?" I was like, wow, because I'm from the South. I try to treat everybody with the best respect I can. Sure, there's a diva in me sometimes where my guitar is not by the stage when it's supposed to be, and I'm freaking out, and I lose it then. But that's just because I'm sacrificing for the show at that moment. It's like, oh man, something's not happening right, and these people are waiting on me, So that might even be the politeness in that. I don't want these people to wait. But we had a good time. It was really a long tour, though. It was almost 7 months or something like that.
7 months, yeah. Turtle knows because I was gone and he was not happy.
Not that I wasn't happy. I was just like, but the show, Max.
But the
show! Like, what am I supposed to do?
And, I'll say this, too, because I give internet guitar lessons, or bass lessons, sorry, and things like that, then I try to keep up with that when I'm gone. It's impossible. That tour especially was just... The lineup order changed a lot, so your sound check wasn't the same time every day. Then, of course, you have the buses breaking down, and you have all the stuff that goes along with that, and trying to find rides with other bands. The equipment's not where it's supposed to be. So it was all this chaos, and Max was actually running part of that show for us, and she was managing a big segment of that. And so she was pulling her hair out to make sure that we weren't pulling our hair out. And she did a good job with that. So in my head, in theory, it's like, well, you can do that from the road, but there was no way. You didn't have signal. We were in the Midwest so much. There was so little signal. And Wi-Fi in arenas, if you're not planted in one location, you don't have it. And I guess it's because they don't want the hockey players, texting or browsing the web while they're playing hocky.
Really?
In the arena?
Bad.
I think that might be why they do that.
That's interesting.
It's a safety thing. But no, it was a great time. We all enjoyed ourselves, but I will say, if that 7-month tour is ever offered to me again, that may be one I just say, you know what, I think we'll pass on that. Because that was...
Maybe not this time.
Yeah. Interesting fact about the tour, catering was so good for me. Max, I'll tell Max's story in a moment, but
yeah,
catering was so good. I gained weight. I went home and Christina says, "You've gained some weight." I'm like, "Well, in the right places, right?" No,
no, darling.
Which was good. We fitness together, so she was just putting me back on point. And Max, of course, has some food allergies. She has, gluten-free stuff and does all this dieting stuff that's special for her health. There was nothing she could eat at all, so she lost 1 million pounds. And we're over here.
I gained that back now.
We're eating lasagna and spaghetti and, steak and all this.
Yeah. And
tons of food.
All this awesome stuff.
Oh, my
I'm
gosh.
like, no meat. And it's like the barbecue run.
Oh, there was tons of barbecue. Yeah.
Every day.
Some of it was good. The first 10 times, yeah, I'm okay with barbecue. But after that, it kind of got to where, is this a different kind of barbecue? No, it's not.
No,
the same barbecue.
It's the exact same food. We just took it from the last state.
That's smart.
And it rode in the trailer, so beware.
In your trailer.
Yeah.
Now, on that tour, now I saw that, and by the way, if you
And
go
12
ahead.
Stones was on that as well.
They were. I'm sorry I
we
left them
have
out. It wasn't due to importance. It was just due to my brain in the mornings.
And what I was going to say is if you go on to scottwilsonmusic.com, I was checking that out, and I saw that you filled in bass for Saving Abel. Was that because you went on tour with them this last one, and then that's how you got to know them, or how did that happen?
Yeah, so that's an interesting turn of events. So, we're all on this tour together. You get to know everybody really well. You get to know, things you don't want to know about people, and how they smell when they're really dirty and things like that. But yeah, got to know those guys. Our bus broke. We rode with them some. We rode with, the band split up. We went in different buses, and got to know them. I had a relationship with Scott Bartlett, and I have been friends for years. And so I got to know the rest of the band. Their bass player needed some time off, and they called me and said, we were on tour together this past run, and they said, hey, you know what, man? Would you be interested in filling in for a little bit? How's Tantric's schedule look? And I'm like, well, yeah, that actually fits the schedule. I think I can do it. And if you listen to Saving Abel, for those of you that don't know the band or aren't familiar with their music, it's a southern rock sort of band. You listen to the music just in passing and go, you know what? Yeah, that's not going to be that difficult. I can chart that out and probably do it in a couple days and just nail it. That is very complex music, which was awesome to me. It challenged me the first day I started sitting down with it. You've got two different songs going on guitar at the same time, and then the bass is going up the middle. So it was exciting to sit down and learn all that material. I'm still working on it, by the way. I've got 3 more shows with them coming up tomorrow. I have to fly out today from LA and then head to Jackson, Tennessee, to their home city, and do a show. So it's going to be interesting. But that relationship was established. They said, hey. I said yes. And then the first night, the first show, I said, what have I done? Oh my gosh, what have I done? But they're good people, and they got a lot of good stuff going on for them right now. So it's exciting.
Very exciting. I saw it and I was like, oh, that's cool.
Yeah, one of my favorite bands on that tour, because their energy just killed it every night. The other Scott Wilson, right? That's his
Scotty Austin.
Scotty,
but
Austin.
His real name is Scott Wilson,
right?
Just like me, and that's weird.
Yeah. He's like a wild man. We played, I believe it was in North Carolina at a racetrack, and you were not allowed to use any profanity. So no alcohol, no profanity. And there was $100 charge for every single word that you said. By the time that he hit the stage, his paycheck was gone.
Wow.
It was gone. It was insane. It was so much fun.
He's very, I don't know what the word would be, charismatic, of course, but that's what makes him such a great front man, is he's just off the chain, wound up all the time. And honestly, because I've spent a bunch of time with him, I'm an early riser. So I'll go to bed before everybody, which it's still 4 or 5 a.m. I go to bed. They're still up. They're partying. They're having a good time doing whatever. And, and I wake up in the morning. Let's just say it's 9, 10 o'clock, and I'm sitting in the bus, and Scotty, these automatic doors on the bus, they push it, and it's kind of like Star Trek. The door opens, and there's this alien who kind of resembles Scotty Austin standing there, squinting his eyes because he can't see from the light, and he'll wake up, and he's that guy immediately. It's not, oh, man, how's it going? Gosh, I'm tired. Like most people, it's like, whoa, yeah, hey, what's going on? What'd you get into last night? Man, and just it's fun. He's a good dude to be around. He's very driven and likes to have a good time and make everybody around him have a good time no matter what.
Very cool. I'll tell you what we're going to do. We're going to hear another song. Now, this is really cool what you're doing. You're letting us play some new material. Mm-hmm. This is actually, world premiering. For everybody, even for the band. The band doesn't even know.
Oh, we did a song? I don't remember that. No.
So thank you so much for letting us be the first to play some of this material. Later on, we're gonna have some more. We're gonna have some acoustic stuff, maybe.
Yeah.
Okay, we'll talk about that. Let's hear the song "Against My Forever."
It's my favorite new song.
You already heard this, Max?
I kind of heard all of their stuff. I don't know why, but
It may have something to do with spending 7 months on a bus with
oh
somebody.
right,
I feel like
that's right.
I feel
Oh,
like
yeah.
there was a lot of music passed around. It's like, listen to this. This is what I did when I was 13. Because you get out there and seeing the desert. There's only so many times you can stare at the desert, for 4,000 miles. So you have a lot of time to toss music around and pick up the acoustic guitar and maybe write something.
Cool.
Right.
And this came from that?
No, this was already done. These are demos too, by the way. This isn't the finished production, but I just thought, why not just throw it out there? It's who knows what'll ever happen with these songs, but they're new songs for us, and we're excited about them.
We just heard Against My Forever. And here's the thing. Forever is forever, so how can you be against it?
Well, the message to me is this. It's, I can never be against our forever together. That's the message. So, it's the love story. It's the panty dropper,
Yeah.
You gotta have those.
You gotta have those. And this song, I don't know, man. Something about this. We orchestrated the music first, and we were just playing around with ideas, and there wasn't even lyrics for this song. We didn't know what it was going to be. It's just we found this really cool thing and started creating with it, and then all of a sudden it says, Hugo, our singer, he's like, man, I don't know what I'm going to write to this, but the music itself already stood up and said, okay, here we are,
Right.
And so he came up with this concept and just started rolling with it. And then I remember waking up one morning because I'm like I said, I get up early, and I woke up and I'm in bed and the sun's peeping through, and I'm just like, man, this is a good day, and I always try to start that way. And I look at my phone and I'm like, oh, Hugo emailed me something. What is it? And I look, and it's the song. And so I put my headphones on because I'm still in bed, and kick this song on. And he had a lot of this song written and sent it to me. And I literally just welled up with tears. I was like, wow, this is strong. This is good. I'm really happy about this song. So, and that doesn't happen. You don't hit gold every time you go mining. If you're starting a new place, you just start pecking away at the rock and hope there's gold in there.
Yeah, very cool. Now, to get a hold of you, very easy. You go to scottwilsonmusic.com, and of course, you're on the Facebook. We'll have all the links to that, and of course, tantricrockband.com. Now, I know you produce on the side too. Mm-hmm. Anything exciting happening with you producing? Anything juicy, as they say?
Yeah. There's a lot going on with that. I've got, part of the fun of that, of course, I love just to compose music. Who doesn't? That's a musician. If it's your heart and soul and you can pour that out there on notes, then that's great. But I love when I meet a band that has just raw talent. They're there, but they don't know it yet. And so you get them in the studio, start working, composing, getting it together, and taking the best part of what they have and recording it, figuring it out, showing them what it is so that they can evolve. And so it's so exciting to take these, you call them baby bands, of course, they are over the age of 2, most of them, though we all don't act it sometimes, but you take those guys, you get them out there, you show them what they got because they didn't even know they could do that. And there's nothing more exciting than to see them climb the ladder of success, whatever that ladder is. There's some metal bands out there that I've worked with that they just want to go out and tour and play metal, and they don't care about anything. And we make some great music together, and I'm not worried about a record deal. I'm not worried about anything. I got a couple T-shirts and a van, but they get on their way with the music you created, and their fan base grows, and they're happy. And then you got the people. There was a band that I worked with last year called Source. And they're a progressive metal band. It's 3-piece. One of the best bass players I've ever witnessed. And their singer, guitar player has a degree in jazz composition, piano, but he's their guitar player.
Nice.
And then the drummer is this charismatic chef. I mean, I like him because he fixes food.
He fixes food.
I'm fixing food. That was the redneck that came out there.
Yeah,
but
right there.
He fixes food. When it's broken, he fixes the food.
It'd be broke.
and it's great. This dude is crazy fun. So we all got in the studio. We talked about working together for a while, and then all of a sudden we got together, and this record came out unbelievable. Sonically, it's one of the best records I've ever had part in, and they've had great success. They've been touring the last year. Their first single came out about 2 weeks ago, and it broke 100. I don't know where it is now, but for a prog band, that's crazy.
Yeah.
But
that's a big rise right now. All of the prog music is coming back.
It is.
In force with Chon and, all of those bands off of Sumerian Records.
Yeah, and that's cool because, man, there's nothing more fun than to go watch a band like that live.
Yeah.
Because I can sit down in the studio by myself and write a crazy, complex piece of music, but then I can't go out and play all the instruments live. These guys are so tight. Source lives in a house together. So when they're not touring, they are writing music and playing every day. And they have set practice times. It's like they're in boot camp all the time. And that's why they are the band that they are. But, to see that, to help contribute to that, I'm a blessed guy to get to touch people's lives that want to do the same thing I'm doing. Even if it's in a different way, they want to do it. And they're doing it. So that was cool. I've got a band right now called Atlantic Panic. We own a venue in Colorado Springs, Sunshine Studios Live, a little plug for it there. And I'm sitting there, and there's some good local bands around. And I'm like, yeah, those guys are pretty good. And then all of a sudden, this kid comes up, and the singer is just really all over it, just killing it. And I start listening to the band, and I start focusing on the composition and what they're doing. And I was like, this is a group of musicians. I mean, they're just not performing and killing this show. They're musicians. And so I talked to him afterwards. We worked on a record for about a year, and it's we're wrapping it up now. And they've had a lot of interest from labels, and they've had a lot of people that just can't believe that band's from Colorado Springs because they're very pop rock, and it's not the typical. It's a very heavy city as far as music goes.
Yeah.
So I'm excited about their record too, and Chadwick, their singer, just a good dude. And I was remodeling our kitchen. I like to dabble in that construction stuff and mess my fingers up to where I can't play.
Yeah, that's really smart.
Sometimes I'm not a smart man, but I called Chadwick and I go, "Hey man, will you come help me with this kitchen? I can't like hold something and nail it at the same time." And Chadwick comes and just he diligently worked with me on this kitchen just to be a friend, and so scratching the back and exciting music. I wish I had some of that because maybe we'll get them on the other segment of your show sometime because
that'd be great.
It's a unique rock sound. The first time you heard the Foo Fighters, I'm not comparing them to the Foo Fighters, but it was a different sound. These guys are a different sound as well.
Nice.
And not only that, but pop rock. I love pop rock. I know it gets a lot of bad language. People are not very cool with it, but I love music in general, and like pop rock is, I think, one of those things that has just been missing. Like whenever I need my fix of that, like I'll do like Blink 182. I'm like, oh man. Then I'll listen to it. I'm like, oh, that was so fun.
Yeah.
It doesn't necessarily always have to be so deep.
Yeah.
And I think that's what's kind of missing right now. Everyone's being deep, which there's nothing wrong with that, but sometimes you just gotta have some fun. With the music.
Yeah, definitely. I love Sunshine Studios, by the way.
Have you been there, Max?
I have been there, and it's fantastic. First off, your studio in Sunshine, one of the best studios that I've seen in years, and I've been probably at every studio, in the world.
One or 3,000.
Yeah, right. 1 or 3,000. And but just the way that the whole place is run, it's like a family atmosphere. Everything is like butter, smooth like butter, and great crowds. Just a really, really great venue. I was
thank you.
Super happy to be there.
Oh man, that means a lot. And the big thing is everybody affiliated. Christina, my fiance, she's a musician. She's a percussionist, drummer, a studio engineer with 17,000 degrees
as well.
And she's an actress. That's why I'm in LA a lot. But she's an amazing person, but she's also a very
She's
accomplished
super hot.
musician. She is gorgeous.
She's freaking
Did you see
super
her
hot.
last night?
Jesus Christ.
Wow. Anyway, whole nother story.
I'm
We-
totally
we-
missing out on all this. I was not even close to
Yeah, we
anywhere.
weren't.
we got distracted. But yeah, everybody involved with it is a musician that has played music, has toured, has done everything involved. So what that does is it makes it easier for us to cater to the musicians. But of course, also we've seen a zillion concerts, and we know what can go wrong and what can go right. So she's a pro at being able to align the stars before they get shifted.
That's
And
cool.
yeah. So it works out, and we have a lot of fun with it. Venue business is really tough, as everyone knows. Music business is really tough. But long story short, it's fun, and we love to give the local bands a place to play and warm up for these national acts. I mean, that's what we all dream of when we're kids, right? We get to play the stage with, whoever it is for that day.
Now, I just want to pick your brain real quick, since you do own a venue. Here in LA, it's so different. Like you can have like a lot of pull, like a band can come in town that's like really like hot, and like people are just not interested, and even like local bands will play, and it just doesn't garner that much capacity. I'm wondering why, and I know maybe for you guys it's really different, just because you do have that kind of community out there in Colorado. Not saying that there's not that community here in LA, but it's just so sparse. And not only that, but like the thing with venues is, and I get it, they have like 1,000 different acts that are 1,000 different genres all playing together in hopes that, like, I mean, me, I like music, so I can go and I can watch, if you right now on my iPod I have like 833 songs, all different genres, all different everything. So for me it's no big thing, but I think I'm one of those unique people out there that just is open to different genres, whereas like some people are just very, like how you said, very genre focused, and they only want to hear that.
Yeah.
What have you seen, or what have you done to like curate these crowds at your venues?
Well, here's not to get into politics, but when the recession started,
Why not get into politics?
because I'm not that smart. I'm a musician. I can play an E chord, even an E minor sometimes, but all my guitars are tuned to D. No, I'm kidding. So here, in my opinion, and I watched the decline and the rise and the decline and all this stuff, but venues across the nation. LA is a different scene. It's a different scene than anywhere. Nashville is a different scene than LA or anywhere else. Those two places are just, there's so much music that it's hard to single it down to get people to congregate in one thing. And I think that's part of this scene, which is cool. If you live here or you're visiting, you can just see anything you want to see any night. But that's declined some as well, to where there's less people going out to see the shows, so then venues don't have as much music as often. But you can still, if you know the people, if you know the locals, which I'm fortunate enough to know a lot of people here, but in Colorado, it's a little different, because here's the deal: there's weed there. That's all I gotta say. No, I'm kidding. No, there's weed everywhere. No, there's weed here too. I'm just totally playing with that. No, so kind of Colorado. Colorado Springs, where I live, is different than Denver. Denver has a big nightlife scene where everything's kind of centralized in one area as far as music, entertainment, the clubs, the killer restaurants, all that's centralized. Colorado Springs is a really spread out community. There's, I don't know how many thousands of people that live there now, because it's one of the fastest growing communities there is. But it's really spread out over miles and miles and miles. So even downtown Colorado Springs is tiny. It's little bit. You can walk it in 10 minutes. And so, the music scene is spread out. It's everywhere. Different sides of town. So then you get normal pull from community. But let's just say we bring, Tantric to town, even if I wasn't a homeboy. If I'm there, the band's playing there, the promoter has to work so hard to let people know about it, because it's not necessarily a tight music scene, whereas like in LA, everybody kind of talks because it's a community. It really is an artsy community. So they're talking, going, "Hey man, do you know Tantric's coming to town?" "Yeah man, I remember that band. They're cool." So word spreads that way. In Colorado Springs, for some reason, you have to go out and hold people's hands to get them to hear about it. It's just the media outlets aren't there as strong. So a lot of promotions, a lot of things to figure out great ways to make people know that they're going to have a good time when they come to a show. And that's what it's all about, people congregating and carrying one emotion together, And that's what it means to me. But it's tough, man. This whole the whole music live venue thing is tough, and so many bands go out and just tour and tour and tour for no reason, and don't come out with new music. They don't try to do something different, and then they wind up really, really driving themselves in the ground, and they're also driving the community in the ground as far as music goes. The live industry. Yep.
Yeah.
Need a reason.
That's why we have to have, multiple tours like that, with so many bands, because, people are demanding it now. They don't want to spend their money on seeing live music unless there's, more than one band.
Mm-hmm.
These traveling festivals, as I call them.
That's what they want. And, but I understand what it's grown to that because, of course, when I was first going to festivals and concerts, and things like that, it's a huge event. This is, wow, man, I've always wanted to do this. I've always wanted to see that band and that band and that band. That band I've never heard of, Mm-hmm. The event is what it turned into, this giant thing that we thought about for a year till the next time it came around. So trying to recreate that now to spark interest in music, in live music and music presentation. It's exciting. It's sad that we're where we are. But having a good time with a bunch of people, that's awesome. Yeah. So whatever I got to do, whatever we can do to be a part of it as far as the venue, we're going to do it because, Christina's really diehard dedicated to the local scene and cool. Having those people have an outlet to play. Because it's tough, man. Venues are closing everywhere, and we've been around for 10 years. So cool. It's good.
Yeah. For more, could they log on to scottwilsonmusic.com to find out more, or where would they have to go for that?
Sunshine Studios Live, you can Google that. There's 10 different websites, as far as Instagram and Facebook and everything. But Sunshine Studios Live, our recording studio is on the same website too. It's just Sunshine Studios. So.
Okay. Right.
Cool. I know you have to catch a plane, but we're just going to have you for one more real quick segment, if that's cool.
Sure, yeah, I love being here.
Yeah, we're going to hear the song Breakdown. This is an acoustic version. Was it recorded in Sunshine? Or?
It wasn't. So I moved to Colorado Springs, I guess about 3 years ago, maybe 4. I don't know, a while back. I'm still part of a studio in Kentucky, and that's where this was done. And Tantric was based out of Kentucky, and it's called Third Sky Studio. And that's where we did all of it, recorded it all, mixed it there, did everything.
Is that where you got the idea to build your own studio? Or
it's fun. In '94, I opened my first studio. It was called Sound Sessions. I can't even say that right now. Sound Sessions Studio. And my best friend and my mentor, he was 8 years older than me. He got me started in all this craziness, the live part and the studio part. And he owned Third Sky, and he passed away. And his family and our other partner in crime that we all helped each other out all the time said, we really need to keep this studio rocking. And we weren't competition. I sent work to him. He sent work to me, whatever we're better at. And so I agreed to close my studio and focus on that. And then it wasn't very much longer that I met Christina and wound up moving to Colorado Springs. So we still kept it going. Richard Easterling, my engineer, he flies back and forth Kentucky, Colorado, and does all this stuff for me. And of course, nowadays you can send files really easily, but it's best when you're together, hanging out face to face, and you get that camaraderie for ideas.
Right.
Definitely.
We did
the Breakdown, that was nominated for a Grammy?
Yeah, Song of the Year 2001.
Yeah.
It was nominated for that Grammy. And it was kind of the breakthrough for the band, and kind of put things in motion for 17 years later. But you know what? It's cool, and you're asked frequently, of course, what's your favorite song to play? And I love a lot of the music, but when the opening riff to Breakdown plays, you see people's faces light up, and
you're like, hey.
Yeah, they're like, what that? Because they were waiting on that the whole time. Sure they like the other 8 or 10 singles, but that's the one they're waiting on. So when you break that out and you see them light up, it's awesome.
Now I know you have a plane to catch, and this is something I've always enjoyed of a question. Are you still used to jotting off everywhere? Are you still used to being in a plane, or is that still? Yeah,
it's so travel, of course. I'm an expert travel agent. I'm an expert. Geez, I mean, you load up the family on a family vacation. It's very different than literally living on an airplane or in a bus or a van. Staying in hotels all the time, and most times, if you average it out, we're on the road 10, 11 months of the year, and it's tough. But depending on how tired I am or what's been going on, I've been on the road with Saving Abel, as we said, filling in for those guys, and that is a very tiring tour. I mean, we got a great coach, everything's fine and fun, but I was exhausted when I flew here to LA, and then of course we are doing 10 million things we have 2 days to compress all this business in, So right now I'm extremely tired. I don't really want to catch a plane. I'd love to just go to sleep. But I'm excited to get to play in front of people again. I mean, geez, it's part of our existence, when you do it for a long time. So, but used to it, no. But I just feel like it's something you got to do, and you just go, okay, well, yeah, here we go.
Maybe you should do like train rides instead. Maybe that's like.
I would love to do, and let's do this. Let's just us three put our brains together. Okay. Let's get a bullet train.
Okay.
Okay. It's not a big deal. We can do that. It's $100 million or something like that.
San Francisco to Vegas.
No big deal. So what we're going to do on this thing, somehow we're going to defy gravity to where we can set up a stage, and then we can charge, and just it'd be like the rock and roll train. They got the cruise. Why not make it a train?
Yeah.
And then so they get to see a show on the train. Then we get off like a cruise on the island. Let's just say it's a state. And we do a big show there with another band who took another train to get there. And then it's going to be awesome. And plus, we can do that show, and then I can probably sleep on a bullet train.
Yeah.
I feel like that is very similar to a bus.
In my mind right now, I'm trying to work out the details of how we're actually going to do this.
I don't doubt this at all. Listen, I got a banker. I know a guy.
I know a guy.
I'm not saying he'll do it, but he knows a guy. You know what I mean? And they may have some sort of accent like this. You know what I'm saying? But,
it's all right.
Yeah. No, I'm just playing. But I think that would be awesome to travel on a train. I did it in 5th grade. We went to Washington, D.C. from Kentucky. It's the first time I was on an Amtrak, Mm-hmm. And I was like, wow, this is so cool because I can get up, and not only is it bus size or coach size where I got a bunk or a back lounge or front lounge, I can go do anything. I can go to the bar. I was in 5th grade. I can go to the bar. I can watch a movie. There's all this stuff you could go do. It was neat. I've always been a little infatuated with trains, just saying.
There it is.
I wasn't happy about the train. When I was on the road with Alice Cooper, we were in Europe, and we were going from, I believe, Scotland to Ireland, and we had to take the train. And it was very odd, that feeling for me. So when I got to the venue, I was like...
You were tired?
Yeah, no, I was like...
Oh, the belly gurgles.
Yeah, I didn't feel so good after that.
Yeah.
So I don't know. They got to work on that.
And I explain things like this, or I can't even talk. Certain things that I say, like, it's driving a Cavalier 100 miles, Mm-hmm. I had a Cavalier, it's okay. And then driving an S-Class Mercedes, and then you get out in the Cavalier, you think you feel fine. But if you did the same trip in that Mercedes when you got out, you're refreshed and way more awake, and it's just from noise.
Right.
Or the car not moving that much. And, and I'm not, and Mercedes didn't pay me to say that.
They should.
They should.
I won't be expecting those cars.
It is, they'll just give us a car or something. It'll be okay.
ScottWilsonMusic.com. Go ahead. Yeah. Contact them.
But yeah, so traveling like a train, and that's what I liked about it. I didn't hear the train that much. On the bus, the coach, I put headphones in that block out the world, turn my music, not loud, I don't want to hurt my ears because I need them, but I got to get in a zone even with my bunk and the curtain closed and everything. There's a certain amount of sound that you get used to. And if it's a new coach, it's way quieter than the old coaches and they ride smoother. So you're not as tired.
Right. Well, I hope you're not tired on your flight out. Thank you so much for coming on and being a part of the experience. Really enjoyed it. Again, for more information on Scott Wilson, scottwilsonmusic.com. And, of course, check him out on Tantric, tantricrockband.com. And, of course, if you're lucky enough,
Saving Able
for at least 3 or 4 more shows.
Or many more.
We don't know. I'm just saying,
It could happen. I'm good at helping people.
Yeah, apparently.
And please share with us your endorsers.
Oh, sure. Yeah, I could not do it without them because, of course, I need gear.
Ernie Ball, yes. I saw your...
I'm a Music Man guy.
Yeah.
Ernie Ball, Music Man, Orange Amps, and West Tone in-ears. I just partnered with them this year, and they've been super awesome. Yeah. And I hear better than I've ever heard, so it's awesome.
Yeah, you always had the best in-ears.
Yeah, you got to do what you got to do.
It's true.
Okay, we are going to leave now with the song Angry. Anything you want to tell us about that before we leave?
Real quick story. This song is written from my singer to me.
Really?
Yeah, and you'll hear, in the chorus that, when you're together for years in really close quarters, you're going to bicker, fight, whatever, and then you got to go, wait, we can't do this right now. We got to go put on a show. Yeah. There's 3,000 people here waiting on us, and we got to go. Yeah. So then we put it all to the side, and then, of course, music makes it all better, and that's kind of what the song's about, and it's concert experience, healing, anger. But it was based on a true story, I guess you should say, or I should say, because I'm not an angry person. Anybody that knows me is like I'm very organized. My singer's the opposite. I have a bracelet that Christina bought me and Hugo. Mine says worries too much, and his says doesn't worry enough. And so we're bracelet buddies. So that's funny.
Very cool. Well, thank you again for coming on, and we're gonna go out, have some experiences. You go out, have some experiences as well, and then we'll come back and share those experiences.